She was 40 and needed no one. Until her wagon got stuck on my road and I said, "Let me help." /U2E3B. The road out past the old Hendricks place has always been more mud than gravel in the spring. My name is Walter Briggs, and I've lived on that road for going on 30 years now. Long enough to know every rut in it. Long enough to know which puddle hides a stone, and which one just hides more mud. So when I saw the wagon stuck up to its axle, just past the bend by the cottonwood tree, I wasn't surprised. What surprised me was the woman standing beside it. /U2E3B. She had her sleeves rolled up and her hands flat against the wagon's side, like she meant to move 200 pounds of wood and iron through sheer stubbornness alone. Her hair had come loose from its pins, falling in copper waves around her face. And there was mud, real honest mud, up to her elbows. I slowed my truck. Rolled down the window. "Looks like she's dug in pretty good," I said. She didn't turn right away. When she did, there was something careful in her eyes. The kind of careful you learn after years of people offering help that wasn't really help at all. "I've got it," she said. "Now, I want you to understand something about the woman who would become my wife. When Margaret Doyle said she had something, she meant it. She'd run her late father's hauling business for 6 years by then, alone, after the men in town had quietly assumed she'd sell it off and move back to her sisters in Ohio. She hadn't sold it. She hadn't moved. She'd learned to read a wagon's balance better than most men who'd done it their whole lives. /U2E3B. I got out of the truck anyway. "I believe you," I said. But 2 sets of hands move faster than one. Doesn't have to mean anything more than that. She studied me for a long moment. "Out here, you learn to read people slowly, the way you read weather." I think she was deciding whether I was the kind of man who'd help and then expect something for it. I wasn't. I just hate seeing good work go to waste in the mud. "Fine," she said. "Just that. Fine." /U2E3B. We worked for the better part of an hour. I found 2 flat stones to wedge under the wheel. She directed the mule, gentle and sure, talking to him low the way you'd talk to an old friend who was having a hard morning. Somewhere in that hour, without either of us deciding to, we started talking. She told me about her father, how he'd taught her to back a wagon into a barn doorway with 2 inches to spare on either side. I told her about my own father, who'd taught me that a fence is only as honest as the man who built it. We didn't talk about loneliness. Neither of us would have used that word back then. But I think we both recognized it in each other. The particular quiet of a life built carefully, alone, by choice and also not quite by choice. The kind of solitude you wear like a good coat. Warm enough. Familiar enough. But you still notice, on the coldest nights, that it was built for one. /U2E3B. The wagon came free just as the afternoon light was turning gold over the wheat fields. Margaret wiped her hands on her apron and looked at me with something softer than before. "Thank you, Walter. Any time your wagon wants to get stuck on my road," I said, "I'll be here." She laughed. It surprised her, I think, as much as it did me. A real laugh, unguarded. "I might take you up on that." /U2E3B. She didn't, as it turned out. Not on purpose, anyway. But she did start taking the long way past my place when she made her deliveries. And I found reasons to be out mending fence right around the time she usually passed. We were 40 and 38 that spring. Old enough to know what we wanted, and old enough to be careful about saying so out loud. It took until autumn for either of us to say it plainly. I remember the day. The leaves were turning, and she'd stopped the wagon without it being stuck on anything at all. "I don't need rescuing, Walter," she said. "I want you to know that. I've never needed it." "I know that," I told her. "I never thought you did. Then why do you keep showing up?" I thought about that question longer than she probably expected. Because needing no one and wanting someone aren't the same thing, I said. I figured you knew the difference. I was hoping you'd let me be the second one. Not the first. /U2E3B. We married the following spring, in the same field where her wagon had gotten stuck. She wore her mother's blue dress, mended at the hem where the years had been hard on it. I didn't mind the mending. I never minded the mending on anything about her. We're old now, the two of us. 60 and 58, with grandchildren who roll their eyes good-naturedly when we tell this story at the table. But I tell it anyway, every chance I get. Because I think there's something in it worth remembering, something a lot of us forget as the years go on and we get used to managing things ourselves. Strength and connection were never opposites. A person can build a whole life on their own 2 feet, and still let someone walk alongside them, not because they have to, but because it's good. Because it's warmer that way. Because the road is long, and even the steadiest wagon sometimes needs another set of hands, not to be saved, but simply to be accompanied. /U2E3B. Margaret still runs her business, in a manner of speaking. Our Gr.